All right, hello and welcome. Today I want to show you a preview of a build that I am working on that we should have a guide for within the next few days. Hopefully no later than middle of the week. So this isn't going to be a full build guide. It's more of just like, here's what's coming. This is what it looks like. This is the Stormclaw build that uses the Crone staff. I can't remember the full name. I'll show you in a little bit. But I'm really excited about this build. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. It's so much fun. It's so powerful. You can see here that I'm running a tier 42 nightmare dungeon at level 75. And this is not particularly well set up for a melee build, which is very much a melee build. It's got the volcano affix on it, so there's all kinds of stuff that drops under the ground. And you can see I'm not intentionally avoiding it. In fact, I'm doing quite the opposite. I am intentionally dealing with it all, just tanking it so you can see. And there's a few points in here where I do take some damage, and I don't have Grizzly Rage up, which is really important for the build, and I still survive it pretty much no problem. So this is like almost worst case scenario, tier 42. There's like a couple of things I could do to make it worse, like have backstab on, but this is an incredibly tanky build, and it also does a surprising amount of damage. It's got great mobility. It's kind of like everything you'd want in a melee build. I would really believe this is going to be a competitive build. I don't know exactly where it's going to end up, but it's going to be a very powerful build on all kinds of content. So I can't wait to get the guide out, but it's going to, of course, take me a little bit of time. I've got a little bit more testing to do, but I'm already in the process of running it, so it should be fairly soon that we get it out. Okay, let's go ahead and just fast forward this to the boss so you can see how it is on single target, and then I'll talk about a few of the features of the build. All right, here we go into the boss, and this wasn't a perfect boss run. We do lose Grizzly Rage towards the end, or else it would have been much faster. We even get CC'd at the end, but you can see that this does not struggle for damage at all. It should have died right there. I just ran a Grizzly Rage, so she gets to survive a few more seconds, but it's not long before she's gone. Okay, so that is how it looks in tier 42 nightmare dungeon. So let's go ahead and talk about some of the things that make this build work. And again, in a few days we'll have the full guide, written build guide on max roll, all that stuff for you, so you can build it just like I do. First off is the Great Staff of the Crone. This is a mandatory must-have item for the build. It does not function without it. You do not get the double basic attacks that you need, both Claw and Storm Strike, in order to do enough damage and clear to make it work. We also use Tempest Roar, which gives us the access to some extra skills that are very powerful in the build. Not necessary, but really good. So that's an important part of it. We're building a lot of attack speed on this with Rapid, so that we can do a lot more damage, but also so we can heal a lot. We're healing from our crits, 3% every crit, and we crit a lot, especially since we do take the Keystone passive for Earth and Might, and then we also take the legendary that allows us to use this as a storm for storm skills. And since all of our skills are storm that do damage, including Hurricane, we can get 100% crit chance on this quite a lot. And also we can get a sizable amount of uptime on Grizzly Rage due to our boon. So we have the boon that reduces cooldown on Lucky Chance. And the other great thing about this build is, since it is using a double basic skill, it has 2 chances of getting a Lucky Chance hit. And Claw, one of its greatest features, is it has a high lucky hit chance that we can increase pretty significantly through lucky hit chance in our gear, so up to 61% here. And we also have 31% on Storm Strike. So anything that requires a lucky hit actually works quite well with this build, and it allows this to function at a very high level. So that's, for the most part, I think what I wanted to show you on this build. I think I covered all the primary features of it. We should probably talk a little bit about Grizzly Rage before we move on here. So Grizzly Rage is so powerful for this build for 2 reasons. It gives us unstoppable as long as it's up, which means we don't have to worry about CC. And if you've been following the Shred build that I've made, the Poison Shred build, that's a real problem for it. There's 2 sources of unstoppable. And oftentimes it's still not enough when you're dealing with high nightmare dungeons. It's fine on regular content, but high nightmare dungeons, there's a ton of CC. This build doesn't care as long as Grizzly Rage is up, which is most of the time. It cannot be CC'd at all. So that's huge for it, especially as a true melee in the very greatest sense of the word. This is right up in the enemy's face. Very important for it. And on top of that, we also get the legendary aspect that gives it crit damage for every crit that we do, and we do a ton of crits. So we get a massive amount of crit damage while we're in Grizzly Rage, and that allows us to do the really high damage you see in that single target in particular. That allows even basic skills in this setup to function at a high level. So there's really no weaknesses to this build outside the fact that it is a true melee, but it can build so much damage reduction as a basic skill user through both the fact that Storm Strike has 25% damage reduction built in for using that. We can take the where are you, the basic skills grant damage reduction, that's 100% uptime as well. And we can be in werewolf form effectively 100% of the time. We don't take the chest because it's not particularly good for a lot of things, but we can still be in werewolf effectively 100% of the time. As soon as we start, we don't really leave it, and so we can get all the benefits of being in werewolf, including the damage reduction while shapeshifting werewolf, vigorous legendary aspect, the armor while in werewolf from, I believe it's the boots, near the boots, and there's actually one here on an amulet I don't even have yet. When I do, it's going to be awesome. And this just makes us so incredibly tanky that we're talking like over 99% damage reduction if we have everything working and we have high rolls and everything. So that's why I'm so excited about it. That's why I wanted to show you guys a little early what I'm working on. And again, within the next few days, we'll have a max roll guide on it. I'll have a full video guide on it, and you guys can also make the build and see just how powerful it is for yourself. All right, thank you so much for watching. We have a great time in Diablo 4, and I'll see you all again real soon.